Hey, guys. Once again, we've gathered together our forces in the midst of all this craziness of fandom to put our unique spin on it. Again, I saw the Blerds have an actual convention, and I figured I would bring that type of flavor down here to our style of forum. And I had to gather some forces together, you know what I mean, to bring us together. So uh how you guys been doing over the holiday season? We're now into a new year. So how's it been going? Let me start with you, Rashad.
Oh, everything's cool. Blessed to see another year, man. Christmas was cool. Chill with family. No complaints over here, man. Worked at the toy shop today, so you know,
Yeah,
a lot
that,
more kids came in as usual. So it was cool helping them add to their collection and giving them free Pokemon cards and all that. So it was cool, man.
all right, Marky Mark.
Yeah, I'm just happy to be here. Everything went well. Can't complain. Start a new year. So let's see what happens this year as well. So I'm excited about that also.
All right, Bishop.
All right, everything went well, man. I mean, what more could I ask for? I mean, I'm sorry, my daughter, my grandson was. Sorry, I said, my son. I'm sorry, my grandson and my daughter were here for Christmas. So yeah, we had a great time.
That was awesome.
Sweet.
Well,
Great.
I woke up thinking that I was really going to have to do some changes. Uh, I woke up with mad creativity today, man. I flooded the pages with all kinds of streams, media stuff, pictures, just to get everything back into play. And then my wife sabotaged me with some meatloaf. And dude, I was
Oh
out,
no.
man. That itis hit me. That
Oh man.
I was down for the count. You know what I mean? I set the
Hmm.
alarm. Oh, we got three luchadors up in here. Yeah, man. I set that alarm. I was like, oh, let me get myself up, and get ready to do this. So, brothers, let's get into it. This is something that we were talking about before the holiday break after our first show, and then
That's right.
big news dropped. We got Superman coming back. James Gunn turns to be the head of the studio, and then boom, everything is gone. Everything
Bye
is gone.
bye.
Everything that we knew is gone. Um, the last of the Snyderverse ends with Aquaman. Um, I forget what the name. I forget what the name of the title of the movie is, but it ends with Aquaman. It ends with Aquaman. Oh, we got Jedi Joe up in here. So, man, I was, to say the least, we get him back, and then 2 weeks later, Henry Cavill is gone as Superman. He had some creative differences with the people from Witcher, but now he's doing Warhammer. And if anybody doesn't know, Mr. Cavill is a big WoW fan. He's a big gamer. So I think he's gonna be all right. But let's get into this DC Marvel. Well, not really Marvel, but this whole DC thing with Mr. James Gunn. Now I know we all know where the Marvel fan is.
Hey man, I'm a fan of everybody. Come on
I hear
now.
you, I hear you, man. I had to come in on you like that.
Oh yeah,
But
I understand.
here's my thing about this. I loved having an American Batman for one. I'm
Okay.
not even go front. I mean,
Okay.
we see a lot of the British roles go to American actors. American actors go. American roles go to British actors because they say Americans they can't act. They don't have what. Yeah, yeah. Believe me, that kind of thank you, Jedi Joe. That kind of really hits me in my craw when they say stuff like that, because um, the last time that Superman was portrayed, not the Brandon Routh, but the Christopher Reeve, a British actor got turned down because they told him he wasn't American. Because at that time, Superman was truth, justice, and the American way. Now Superman is international, and well, or I guess planetary, not just international. He's planetary, and that's the thing. So let's just dive into it. Marky Mark, I'm gonna go with you first, sir. What's your take on this James Gunn situation?
When it first was announced that James Gunn was taking over, I was super excited because I actually enjoyed what he did with Suicide Squad. He kept it kind of real with that movie, and I was like, oh, he's just gonna, bring that world and keep going with that. And I was hoping he was gonna keep all of the characters the way they were, just come up with some new storylines. I'm not excited about a reboot because, Superman coming from Krypton has been done to death. Let's just move on to something new. And like you were saying, Henry Cavill was the perfect age because then you can get those stories. You can get like which would be great, an actual Brainiac movie, or any other characters can come in to a Superman movie, and it would be great. When it comes to Batman, I first I wasn't happy when Ben Affleck was chosen, but then when you saw Batman versus Superman, he was fantastic in the role. I was so hyped about that. And then I was hyped when they said he was going to be in the Atlantis movie with, the Aquaman movie. I'm like, oh, he's going to be making some movies of his own. I'm like, happy about that. And then he gets fired. And then, I'm okay with the Flash being fired because he just had some mental things going on. So that was fine. But everybody else, I'm a little upset that they got fired. I mean, Gal Gadot, that was a great casting, even though I wasn't hyped about that at first. But she played that role. She's great at that role. So everybody that Snyder chose has done a fantastic job. And you're going to reboot because you're now the head of the studios. I'm just not really feeling that. I mean, I'm going to give him a shot. I just hope he doesn't try to make it Marvel-esque when he comes out with his DC, whatever he's coming out with. So that would be my only gripe about everything.
I hear you on that. All right, Rashawn. Me and you were really going back and forth with this. So go on, man. Give me your piece.
Hey, listen. I'm as much as I am a comic book fan. Now, if we keeping points on the scoreboard, of course, Marvel is up by 50 points. They sitting on the bench, towels on their shoulder. They not coming back in the game. They got the third string in there doing their thing, but something consistently was off ever since the Snyderverse began. It seemed that they picked the right crop of talent. I was always supportive of it. They were never supportive of Zack Snyder's vision. He got hosed. They tried to say that he stepped down because his daughter's suicide, but actually he was fired 2 weeks before, and a reporter revealed that after the fact. But from there, they had 2 changes in management, and no one ever supported Henry Cavill returning as Superman for whatever reason. Now, the eye test says, hey, he's the perfect Superman. He arguably had the greatest Superman movie ever created. I never felt that he was a better Superman as far as the actor than Christopher Reeve, but he had the physique. He can hold lines, and he looked great as Superman. I never had a problem with him being that. I didn't think the movie was an A+, but an A-. I mean, who's going to argue that? But it seems like from there, through that, all the actors supported the Snyderverse or Zack Snyder getting his just due. You saw them signing petitions from Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa. I mean, You know, even the guy that plays the Flash, I can't remember his name. I should because he's in the headline every month. For some
Gilbert.
crime.
You know
Right,
he was
right.
in a mental place for a while.
Ezra Miller. So what I'm saying is they were all on board. Hundreds of thousands of fans were on board with the Snyderverse returning. The Snyderverse came back. It was great. We saw, the director's cut of Batman vs Superman was great. So we said, dang, man, Snyder had the right idea. They should have really kind of relinquished control to see where this thing went. So they did the Snyderverse. They dropped HBO Max. That was over. But yet, still no Henry Cavill would return as Superman. So now, James Gunn is taking the helm. Everybody thinking, okay, yeah, we got Henry Cavill back. The Rock and Henry Cavill made the announcement, but then the studio was like, nah, not so much. And it's glaringly noticeable that no one is stepping up saying, hey, man, other than the fans, that is, hey, we need to get Henry Cavill back as Superman. The only person was The Rock, and he seemed to be invested from a financial point of view because he had an executive producer credits, and he wanted to center the universe around him and Henry Cavill. But the only person that was supporting him from behind the scenes, as far as his peers, it seemed to be The Rock. No one else was. For whatever reason, I don't know about that, but I think it's time at this point. It's time for change because there's too much negative baggage. It's always going to be echoes of the Snyderverse if you have these actors involved. The only one that I would really take a risk on would be Ben Affleck, and that would be behind the director's chair or for him to direct himself as, the Batman in a different form or maybe cameo. But other than that, hey, I'm down with change and in the DC universe, and I absolutely trust James Gunn's experience. I've seen what he has done with previous DC characters. Hey, dude, if you can make a hit out of Peacemaker, a D grade character as far as comics, hey, I'm sure you can have success guiding us in a new direction with the DC expanded universe. So I'm all in for it. But I'll let somebody else take the stage and talk long enough.
All right, Bishop. And I mean, I heard what Rashad said. I know me and you on the same page because we have a lot of what he was talking about. So you go ahead and you take it, and I'm gonna pick up where you leave off.
Uh-oh, I'm about to get double teamed. Uh-oh.
Oh, we can't hear you, bro. Nah, man. All right. So he was trying to get his mic and stuff together, but Snyder got fired because of the fact that they kept chopping his movie up. And then his daughter committed suicide, and that was DC's out. DC also was getting ready to be sold. You can't sell the company if you have a hit movie. So they kept chopping his movie up. They kept bringing down producers to the set to look it over, to talk it over, and then report back to the guy that is no longer in charge. And that's why we got that mess that we got in the theater. I mean, although it was okay, they released his Ultimate Edition, and it was a full movie. It made sense from beginning to end. We fought for the Snyder Cut. Get the Snyder Cut, man. I watched that thing back and forth, and I love it. It's a full movie. And then I hear the same thing. Oh, it was too long. Oh, I couldn't go through it. But yet you want to he through a damn Marvel movie, which I cannot stand. Everything now is technological where heroes don't put on their armor anymore, except for, if you got a bow and arrow or you're a super spy with a 6-shooter, then you have to actually put on a costume. Captain America, everybody else. I mean, look what they did with Spider-Man. Spider-Man now has a suit. Now, I get it. In the comics, he did the Iron Spider and all this other stuff. What happened to just suiting up? Yeah. Spider-Man was one of those characters that I enjoyed because he made light of the situation because he was scared to death. at what he was facing, and to get over it, he cracked jokes. These other characters that come out of this stuff, man, that's where I have my problem with Marvel. It's always ha ha he he. I don't like that. I want a hard driven, storyline where, I got that from the Superman. I got that from Batman versus Superman. Even with Wonder Woman. I'm not going to talk about Wonder Woman #2.
That's the right name of it too. Wonder Woman #2, not 84.
They had some issues with that.
Right.
But I just felt like, they stopped the Snyderverse, and I was telling Bishop the same thing you said, Rashad. You can't have these characters, because he was like, well, some of them might come back. Ain't nobody coming back, because you can't have that remnants of the Snyderverse.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. All right,
okay,
man. Go ahead. Take it. Take it.
I want to piggyback on some of the things that the other brothers were saying around the round table. Is the fact that I do think that this needs to be a full reboot, but I do see certain characters staying around. I think Gal Gadot should stay around, because for one, she's the Wonder Woman character is what, 3,000 years old, so there's no reason to make her look. If they want to go younger with Superman, they want to go younger with Batman. I think you should have a little bit more mature looking Wonder Woman. So for me, Gal Gadot stays. Everybody else can get a reboot. Ben Affleck, don't get me wrong. Ben Affleck was probably like one of the best Batmans we've ever gotten. Same thing with Henry Cavill. I go back and forth day to day between Christopher Reeve and Henry Cavill, which is better. And I'm a huge Superman fan, and I'm a huge Christopher Reeve fan, but on some days, Man of Steel beats, Superman. And on other days, I sit there and I get nostalgia, and Christopher Reeve is my man. But with the James Gunn situation and Peter Safran, I think this is a good move, because for one, they need to do something different. Everything that has gone before has all been, back alley dealings. What's his name? Walter Hamada, or not Walter Hamada. Who was the president? Who was the president?
It was Walter.
No.
Yeah, that was his name.
It wasn't Walter Hamada. It was the guy before Kevin Sujihara. That was his name.
Okay, yeah. Wasn't he the one that got caught with the?
Yes, he's the one that wanted to put his girlfriend in the film, but anyway, Kevin Sujihara was the one who sat there and made the decisions, to go forward with the mustache gate. He wanted to sabotage DC films so that he can get his bonus and all this other kind of stuff. So all these things, between DC not making, pulling the trigger to, cancel Ezra Miller and all the crazy things he's gone. Everything seems, all these controversies that DC has had, they need to just wipe the slate clean and start anew. And what is it?
That's what I'm talking about.
What is it? Harley Quinn in the Joker movie. That's going to be outside of the DC universe.
Yeah.
I think certain.
Well, hold on. Before you say anything else, because I love what Lando Calrissian just said, and I love the first Thor movie. Do not get me wrong.
I love the first. Well, I like the second one, but I love the first one.
The first one was. Mark, you don't agree? You didn't like the first one?
No, the first one was okay, but for me, the third one was the best. Right? Ragnarok was hands down the best.
Ragnarok
Thor movie.
Ragnarok was.
I thought that's where the comedy
okay.
started coming in. I thought when the comedy started coming in, I was like, I'm done.
Oh, but I enjoyed. For me, that was the best one.
Oh no,
well,
it was fun.
Let me say
it
this:
was fun.
Thor Ragnarok is where comedy started coming in, but it was a perfect balance.
Correct.
And because the first Thor, in my opinion, it was okay, but you saw the entire movie, in my opinion, in the trailer. And once I saw the movie, I wasn't really impressed. The second movie, it takes a lot of heat, but to me, the second one was better than the first. But it takes a lot of heat for whatever reason. But the third one, and this is controversial, it came out either right before, a little bit after Black Panther, and I was like, yo, Ragnarok was just as good as or better than Black Panther. You know, you sound crazy saying that amongst us, but that's really how I felt.
Yeah,
See,
I mean,
yeah,
just be honest
They
with you.
pull your
I was
card
like, yo,
real quick when
Ragnarok.
you talk about Black Panther.
Oh
you know?
yeah,
Hold on.
yeah, definitely, because Black
I'm
Panther's
gonna
supposed
have
to be the greatest,
I'm
better
gonna
than
have to
any comic
borrow
book
some.
movie ever created. You know,
I'm
but
gonna have to borrow something from the 757 roundtable to throw a gauntlet here because I think that's kind of, I don't even know what the word I want to use, but I can't sit there and
well,
say that Thor Ragnarok was better than Black Panther.
I
I
mean, I
can't.
wouldn't
Look,
say it
I
was miles
can.
better. I said it was just as good, or maybe even a little
Oh
better.
no,
And the
no,
reason
okay,
I do that is
Yeah, I think
because,
it's good. I wouldn't say it
well,
was better.
let me
That was,
elaborate on why I felt like it was better, because the comedy disguised the horror story that took place. You got to realize Asgard was destroyed, Odin died, the hammer got crushed, Thor lost his eye, the Asgardians were displaced and didn't have a home. And just to put some icing on the cake, the end scene, Thanos came down on it. They had to put comedy in there because that was like Avenger Endgame level destruction. You know, it was a very, very sad story that was kind of they added elements in there to disguise how bad the situation was. And that's why I felt like it was a perfect balance. That made the movie a lot better to me. Now that I see Thor: Love and Thunder, though, I'm like, Jesus. Like,
What happened?
you once you open the
I
can,
know we talking about the DC thing, but can we just for a brief second? I watched that movie and I'm like, they turned the God of Thunder into a joke.
dude,
Oh yeah, look,
that's a whole other podcast, man.
Lando says, and his mom got killed.
Well, yeah, his mom died in the second one, but I mean, she was already gone in part 2. That's where she died. And
Yeah,
I mean, but I'm just
And
saying.
Ragnarok, remember? Was it Ragnarok? No, that was
No, that was
Yeah.
Endgame when they had to go back in time. So he got to have some closure with her, and that was cool. But I'm just saying, like, that was a perfect balance, and I was cool with the comedic aspect of Ragnarok. And it was still hardcore stuff going on, hardcore fight scenes and
I'll
things
give
like
you
that.
that.
But either way,
I love that.
yeah,
I love that scene on the balcony. Tell me what you were the god of again, and that lightning bolt
yeah,
came down.
yeah,
And the immigrant song playing.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
But I didn't want them to pour the whole can of comedy in like they did with Love and Thunder. But either way, that's here nor there. We talking about DC.
Okay.
I'll let you guys continue.
Well,
Man.
no,
Finish up, Bishop. Finish up.
Since you brought it up, Thor Ragnarok, like I said, was a good movie, and the MCU up until that point was they were balanced with their comedy. They would throw some levity here and there. No, there was a lot more levity when you got Tony Stark than you did anybody else because Tony Stark is an asshole. Okay.
Right.
Cap, there was levity in it, but it wasn't coming from Cap so much per se. It was maybe him being a fish out of water story, but it wasn't
Right.
Cap sitting there telling jokes. Then you sit there and you get Thor Ragnarok because you go from Shakespeare. The first 2 movies are kind of like Shakespearean stories, of this Asgardian god. Then you sit there and then Thor turns into college bro. What's up, bro? And they throw in all this humor, him and the Hulk, this and that and the other. And to me, that's where the downfall of the MCU starts, right there. And because now it's joke upon joke upon joke upon joke. Thor, even my wife has said it, and she's not a comic book fan. She liked Fat Thor in Endgame. I'm sitting there going like,
oh my
they
god,
turned him into a joke. He's not even Thor anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But I mean, when they were fighting, though, you ain't really pay attention to that.
No,
because he was still getting busy.
But see,
that fight scene, that battle scene with him, Tony Stark, Cap, and Thanos.
oh no,
You ain't
that
care
was
if it
cool.
was Fat Thor or not.
That was cool and all, but what I'm saying though is, I don't know about y'all. I know for me, I don't go to the comic book movies to sit there and have a laugh fest and come out of there like, oh my goodness, that was such a funny movie.
Right.
I don't want to go to my
Right,
comic book
right.
movie to come out and sit there saying
Right.
how I laughed all the way through the movie. That's not what I go
Right.
for, because if that's what I wanted, I'd go back to the Tim Burton Batman movies.
Right.
With nipples on the bat suit.
Oh, you woo me to the quick, sir.
Oh no, but I'm just come on, Holy Rusty Metal Batman.
But the first Batman movie was not a comedy.
Yeah, the first one.
Okay.
That's
Right, but what
The
I'm
first
saying,
two.
Holy Rusted, what is it? Holy Rusted Metal Batman. I mean,
Okay, but that's not
Tim Burton. That's
Tim
not Tim Burton, bro.
I'm sorry, not Tim Burton Batman.
Joel
I'm talking
Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher Batman. Those are
There
ones.
you
Yeah,
go.
okay, we'll agree with that. All right.
Right.
There's Tim
Okay.
Joel
Burton
Schumacher Batman.
Yeah.
And Calabas and I have sat there and we've discussed this at length over probably a decade or longer about the comedy aspect and the what do you want to call it? What do they call it, Calabas? Like the 1966 Batman. What is it? What's the phrase that they use? Camp. Exactly. I don't want campy superhero movies. And the way Marvel has been going with their movies, they're getting more camp. That's one of the things I love about DC. DC has gone the opposite direction. And that's the direction they need to stay in. Now, they can have some levity in it, but don't go camp. And I think James Gunn, because like I said, if you look at his movies like Slither, Brightburn, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad, they have laughs, but they're dark.
They're very dark.
You need those laughs to.
I mean, it's so violent that the comedy doesn't stick as hard, and it doesn't make it corny.
Exactly.
And I understand that, but that's not for us. They put that in the movie to keep the fans that are being dragged along that are not comic book fans, to try to show them like, hey, this isn't what you thought it was going to be. This is going to be a fun movie. It's going to have love. It's not going to be all about superpowered persons with capes. So we need your money too. That's really what that's for. Now, it waters down some of the things that we like about the films, but I don't see that as the end, because a lot of people, like I got a best friend. He absolutely loved Black Adam, but he loved Black Adam. He loved Black Adam not because it was awesome. He loved Black Adam because it gave him an injection of what he used to like about the Marvel films before they became campy, as Bishop said. You understand what I'm saying? So I think at the point when Black Adam came out, he was like, oh man, it was, I'm exaggerating a bit. He's probably watching. So he probably saw it and was like, oh my God, finally a breath of fresh air. Can we just fight? Can somebody be serious? Can some people just die? Can we not tell jokes? And he received that. But the movie really wasn't that great. So
agreed.
I think
in my opinion.
Yeah, right. I mean, I'm
gonna be throwing some gauntlets I see after we get through. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I'm trying to bring it back to DC, but my point is, we're all correct in the way we feel, because a lot of other people felt that way when they watched Black Adam. When I watched Black Adam, I'm like, man, the CGI was great. I liked all the fight scenes with Hawkman and Black Adam, but the dialogue was so corny. The screenplay was not good to me, because I didn't like the villain at the end, and I felt like, okay, you guys missed an opportunity. You have The Rock, and you're choosing to cast him as a C grade character, and the reason I say he's C grade, not because of his powers or abilities, no one knows about Black Adam outside of us. And then a lot of comic book fans, they can't tell you, oh man, I got every mini series of Black Adam. No, you don't. You know about Black Adam from being in the Legion I mean, the Legion of Doom, or you saw the DC cartoon, or you just know about him over the course of collecting comics. You know how respected he is on the power scale, but he's not the guy. The villain guys are Joker, Luthor. You know, I'll even put Black Manta before you put Black Adam. You know, I'm just saying this to the scale of a comic book fan. So I'm just saying you chose to align him with a character that wasn't popular, and then you put a no-name villain in there. And I think he needed someone to identify with that would bring more weight to the story.
Well,
You
I
know,
think I think the
I mean,
problem with Black Adam, kind of like what you're saying, is it was the script,
the script
and
was
because
not what's up.
and again, I think that's one of the reasons why it didn't even make 400,000.
Yeah, it did.
I mean, I'm sorry,
400
400 million. It didn't make
Yeah, it
400
did.
million.
Yes, it did.
No, it made 397 million.
Yeah, it didn't
That's
make
what I
400.
was. That's the last number.
I mean,
I
we can
mean, that's
round up.
just
We can round
that's
up.
worldwide. That's the total world, right? Yeah, let's round up. We'll give him
Let's
benefit of the
round up.
doubt.
It made 800
You
million.
don't give me
Because
you guys,
because
look,
he
you guys
hold up.
sound like
Let's
you
give him
guys sound
benefit
like
of the
the
doubt
Marvel
because he
fans.
is black.
You guys kind of sound like the Marvel fans were. Marvel's making this.
No.
First, hold on. The first
Okay.
5 DC movies versus the first Marvel DC movies. Marvel destroyed Marvel. DC destroyed Marvel. They made more money.
Yeah.
Now,
Right.
Black Adam did make only a profit of 57 million. Okay, 57
Still a lot of
million.
money though.
That's after the fact. That's after all the marketing and everything else, because the
400
Rock
million
pushed
ain't
that.
nothing to sneeze at.
It isn't, but
No,
yeah,
yeah.
most people say that.
But everybody,
guys, hold on.
everybody goes, you have to make $1 billion to make a movie. Without China,
No,
you're not
look,
making that money.
You and look, all of us sitting around this round table know that. All right. If you know, $1 billion is not something is not something that every movie achieves.
No.
And in my mind, for Black Adam to be a success, I was saying 600 million in my mind. You know, but again, I think the reason that I'm not calling Black Adam a failure.
It's not a failure.
I'm saying is for
It's
me,
not?
No, man.
it's
no,
not a
means.
failure. No, because it made money. But what I'm saying is, because I'm a Black Adam fan, and Calibus and I went out and bought a Black Adam shirt and everything, and you know how long have I been talking to you, Calibus, about Black Adam?
Dude, we were Black Adam fans way before Black Adam became popular.
Right.
I mean, we had the audio books of
My-
Crisis on Infinite Earth. We have the book where the Suicide Squad kills his wife
Kills his wife,
you know what I mean? But like Rashad said, for those of us in the know,
Right.
we knew the character, we loved the character.
Right.
For those that are
Exactly.
just casual fans,
my problem with the movie, and again, I've watched the movie, but my problem with the movie was the kid. They made Black Adam this fish out of water story, kind of like with Mira, kind of like with Captain America, kind of like with say again. Oh, I thought somebody said something.
no, go ahead.
But they did this. They tried to do this fish out of water story, and Black Adam, it just didn't hit right. You know, the whole thing with the kid. I'm like,
How did it not hit right? I mean, are we watching the same movie? Because I saw it and I
yes,
liked
we
it.
watching the same movie.
You know, obviously not, because you keep telling me it didn't hit right. I saw the movie 3 times, and each time I was like,
let me put it where it's supposed to be. It didn't hit at all. It's not that it didn't hit right. It didn't hit. It didn't hit at all, dude.
Now I'm gonna have to stop dropping some bombs on you.
I mean, you know,
I'll say what they should have done. I think what they probably should have done with Black Adam is, instead of introducing him in a solo movie by himself, they should have gone with him being Shazam as the villain in Shazam, since he is supposed to be the villain in Shazam. And then he come out with a solo movie. I think that probably would have done better, so people would have gotten an introduction.
The only thing about that is, seriously, look at Shazam, and you compare that to Black Adam. There ain't no way in the world.
But I mean, that's how people have gotten.
I get that. I see that's how they see him. I see how that's how they see him. But
I mean, he's way better, but
That Shazam movie, they need to take that shit back to
I think I think Calabas and I are on the same page with this. Shazam, I'm sorry, Black Adam would have overshadowed Shazam in his own movie.
Oh God, yeah.
Because because for one, you have this kid, you have this adult with superhuman powers, but he's a 16-year-old kid inside.
Right.
Then you have this 3,000-year-old super-powered Superman, basically, with magical powers. He would have rocked his world.
Yeah.
Guys, listen, Arvell said they added Scrappy Doo to the movie, and that's exactly how I felt. Listen, guys. I'll just say one thing, and then I'm not going to beat on Black Adam anymore because it was what it is. Okay, they gave The Rock executive power to tailor the movie how he wanted, majority say on the script. They even let him do his own thing at San Diego Comic-Con because you got to remember, Ezra Miller was going crazy around that time. Amber Heard was in court. They weren't going to have any panel. The Rock forced that using his executive producer status. And the goal was to have him and Henry Cavill come out with Black Adam. You remember, if you saw it, he came out of the ground with the Black Adam uniform, and he was trying to get Henry Cavill to come out with the Superman cape, and they vetoed it. They gave him everything he wanted because in our minds, and probably in theirs, it was a no-brainer. This was going to be a home run. The movie drops, and it is a complete. I'm just talking. Hold on. When I say dead, I'm speaking about financial. I'm not talking about the movie quality.
It's not a complete bomb. It still made money. It just didn't make the money that everybody thought. $1 billion.
No, it didn't make the money it needed for The Rock to put the DC universe on his shoulders, and even to make a part 2. So that's when I say it's a dud. That was a dud. And on top of that, you jumped the gun and made all of these announcements. Oh yeah, we're gonna have Superman. Henry Cavill's coming back to the DCEU.
But they were. You act like The Rock is the only one doing this. The studio greenlighted. They were going to give him executive powers to run the DCU.
They gave it to him. But what I'm saying is, when you don't bring it home and you don't live up to what you're saying,
that wasn't it though.
It was for them.
No, it wasn't. Discovery bought Warner Brothers.
That was happening anyway. No one saw but that didn't happen. Hold on, guys. That didn't happen in the final hour. That was already in play because I purchased stock.
When you do that, the new powers that be take over. They scrap anything in production and start their own. It doesn't say, well, we're going to keep this, because if we kept that,
but no, hold on. They scrap what is not successful. No, they didn't scrap everything because they haven't. Hold on. They did not. They haven't asked. They have not asked Peacemaker. They have not asked the Viola Davis.
Wait a minute. Why are they not asking Peacemaker? James Gunn is in charge of it, bro.
Oh, I understand that, but there are projects that have been greenlit that have everything hasn't gotten the axe. Only certain things have gotten the axe. Majority of the things that are connected to the Snyderverse have gotten the axe.
You talking about shows that haven't been produced yet?
Well, I'm talking about shows that were greenlit.
Listen to me.
Well, they have more than an advantage. They have more than an advantage of canceling a show before it goes into production. They still got 5 shows that they have announced that haven't even started production yet. They didn't cancel.
They can't.
So that's my point.
Yeah, but your point is this: that it's not in production. No one's seen it. It's not part of the established universe. They can't take. They can't take. And you said it best. When you have the Snyderverse, you can't have any remnants of that Snyderverse. The only thing you got is Peacemaker, which is a James Gunn done thing.
Well, you got Blue Beetle coming out. You got Shazam 2 coming out. This is what I'm saying. There are things that were greenlit and started that were started from the previous regime that didn't get canceled. So everything didn't get smoked.
They canceled Batgirl.
Oh, Batgirl was trash. It was
Batgirl was trash. Batgirl was trash.
Yeah, pure garbage. Dumpster juice. Yeah.
So now look, I'm going to agree with you on that one. But here we got Ezra Miller running around kidnapping people and talking about he's a trans man and whatnot and all this other mess. They put him in a mental
and starting a
institute.
cult on top of that.
No, oh no! Did you hear the latest news? The latest news is some of the execs say if his movie does well, they want him still going as the Flash.
There's a handful of execs talking about they want him to continue.
No,
or they're open to.
Hell no.
They're
he
open
got
to
to
him.
go, man.
But
he
again,
dude,
that's got nothing to do with what James Gunn and Peter Safran and David Zaslav.
Dude, we all have a certain amount of life experience, and we know if that money come in, Ezra Miller will be back. I don't care what nobody got to say. If that movie makes if that movie makes $2 billion, you will see Ezra Miller in Flash Part 2, 3, 4, 8.
I honestly believe if Flash makes $1 billion, we're still not seeing him back because he's uncontrollable.
So it's two. So what's the dollar amount that you know he'll come back then?
Look, he makes
because there is a dollar amount.
If the Flash makes $2 billion, he's coming back.
Right. Exactly.
$2 billion.
Let me put you on. Let me put you on the side.
Didn't even make $1 billion. So how you think
Listen,
Flash make $2 billion?
Listen,
that's
guys.
My point, though.
No movie studio. I don't care about the history of success. Can turn down an opportunity to make a part 2 to $1 billion franchise, and you decrease your chances by not bringing back the original star. There's not going to be a movie that makes $1 billion where you don't bring back the main character, and you see the examples of that anytime. Look at Will Smith. You put Will Smith in part 1, and you don't put him in part 2, the movie bombs. Now I'm not going to say bombs. It doesn't make as much as the first one. You do this now. If let's say the Flash does $1 billion, right?
Yes.
They're going to bring Ezra Miller back.
No, they won't.
No.
They're
going to bring him back.
No. It will be multiverse. It will be. This is our new Flash.
Look, can we talk about that real quick? I'm tired of this multiverse shit. I'm really tired of it.
No, I don't think I'm tired of it, dude.
Dude, come on, look.
How can you be tired of it when you've been a multiverse fan your entire life collecting comics?
No, I have not.
It's the same thing.
Let me tell you this.
Okay.
I stick with one brand of whatever it is. If it's Batman, I stick with my Batman. The Batman Detective Comics, you know what I mean? I don't go from genre to genre to genre to comics, right? Because of that fact. When Batman broke his back and he came back, he gave up the cowl. Then he comes back and he puts the cowl back on. Then he gives it back up again. And I said, who is writing this crap? That's not Batman. Right. Then we have writers that say, anybody can be Batman. All it takes is a suit and gadgets. No, that's not Batman.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I do not like this multiverse stuff because now, like Bishop said, because just like that, it's easy to replace an actor because now it's a multiverse. We can pull this Flash and bring him in and say that, hey, you know, this Flash got killed, but now we have this Flash to bring him in with. A lot of people want the TV's Flash as the new Flash. No, I don't want him as the new Flash either. I'm sorry.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and he deserves his respect for holding on a show for 8 seasons.
I agree.
But you can't put him in. He can't do lines across from Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot. Like he's he's not that talented.
No, he's not that good, Bishop. No,
he's not out there breaking into.
He gets respect. He gets respect.
Yeah, I agree with Rashad. He gets respect.
He gets respect. Now you know what? I would put Amel in the DCEU Green Arrow, but he wouldn't talk a lot.
But wouldn't that be kind of a good character, though? You know what I mean?
It would be cool.
Kind of like Batman.
Well, actually, you have to put him. It would have to be season 1, Amel, not season 7, because I did not like him. The longer the show was on, the worse it got. But season
Mark,
1,
let me ask you a question.
Fantastic.
Let me ask you a question, Mark. Was that more due to writing? That wasn't to do anything with his talent because he has this. He has to read the lines. Yeah, it was just the writing. So you know he's a talent. What I'm saying is he should be rewarded because honestly, they called it the Arrowverse. They didn't call it the Flashverse. And they put he put all that. Listen, he put all that CW trash on his back, and he carried them for 8 years. If anybody deserves to graduate to the screen, it should be Amel as Green Arrow. and I would support that. I would give him a shot, and I think he could hold his own, and it would be good. He should be rewarded. Now,
and if you sit and you think about it, the writing in the first several seasons of the Flash, I'm sorry, of Green Arrow was some of the best writing they have done.
Yeah.
It's with all of those shows. The writing at the beginning was great.
Right.
And then it
just
changed.
fell off after that.
Yeah, and I mean, most of them, I stopped watching all of those shows because I couldn't get into it anymore.
Yeah,
the writing like everybody was saying. I was like, well, this is a different universe.
You guys are, you're some nice guys.
Universe, and let's just say it. That's what I'm going for. Like Superman and Lois. I don't like that show. I can't stand it. I'm still trying to watch it, but I'll be so glad when it's canceled. I like Stargirl when it first came out, when it was on, DC All Access. I thought it was a great show. When it moved to the CW, it just lost it for me. And then the last episode was fantastic, but then of course it was written by the guy that created the comic book. So he wrote the last episode, and it was a fantastic episode. But then when you have these people that come in and write that don't know anything about the stories, that gets me. I'm like, why are they hired to be the writer of a show? They don't know what's going on, So that's why I stopped watching The Flash like 4 or 5 seasons ago. I couldn't do it anymore.
And see, that's where I think the Peter Safran and James Gunn being part of, being the heads of DC is a great thing, because James Gunn is a writer. He's a writer and a director. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Peter Safran is an executive.
And he gives the people what they want.
And James Gunn is great at being on social media, listening to the fans now.
I was going to say, because he was responding to everybody on Twitter.
Right. But listening to the fans and also saying, hey, no, that's not right. Wherever you got this information from is absolutely 100% false. So I like the fact that he engages with the fans, but at the same time sits there and throws the BS flag, slaps them down when he needs to. You know what I'm saying? So I'm very excited about the new future of DC. I know a lot of people are mad. Look, I'm mad about Henry Cavill not coming back, but it is what it is.
Like not coming back.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, look, I'm just gonna say this. Give me a younger American Batman. I'll be happy with it. But
so what do you think? Okay, so before you say anything, since the Batman did fantastic last year, do you want to see the part 2 to that Batman? So that was year 2. We're gonna go with probably a year 3 or something like that. I enjoyed that Batman. I like to see where they go with that.
I have the Batman with the Batmobile right over here. My ringtone. Go ahead.
Can I say something? In regards to what you were saying about multiverse, right?
Yeah.
We know the success Marvel has had. They constructed a universe. It's beautiful because it's never been done in cinema, period, regardless if it's a comic book related film, Western, or whatever the genre is. No one's really ever had a connected universe in film as far as the movies were concerned. Not 30, 31, 32 movies. Where are they at now? 32 movies? Something like that. And it may be even more than that. So they get a round of applause for that. But on the other hand, I look at DC and I like the fact that, okay, they got Batfleck. I like the fact that they have, the newer Batman. I feel like they can coexist. Pattinson. I like the fact that, Robert Pattinson. I like the fact that they have an individual Joker movie that has nothing to do with anything. It can coexist and it can still be of a certain quality and have tremendous success. I'm not confused as a fan. I don't think any other fans watching it are confused either, even if they are comic book related or not. So I feel like, you can tell. You have a more leverage to tell more adult-oriented comic book stories. That's really what we're saying. We want, we like the direction that Deadpool goes, Peacemaker, Suicide Squad. We like that because it's truly how we were imagining things when we were reading comics. And I like that I can turn to DC for that. Now, Marvel, they can do whatever they want over there. I feel like it's a mistake. And that's why DC's never had any success connecting their universe, because they were trying to bite what Marvel was doing. They didn't even have to do that. They had the oldest comic book characters in the history of comics. Kids are born that know the identity of Bruce Wayne and Superman. You could have just made a Justice League movie. Then you could have spun off and made individual movies. You didn't have to build it up, and you wouldn't have left any money on the table.
But
you know, I don't want them to imitate Marvel. I just want them to cater to what we've been doing. We like the animated movies. You know why? Because they are violent, because they have, you know, sexual themes. It's a serious movie. It's just animated. We want to see the same thing from DC on the screen. Now you can connect it, you cannot connect it. I don't really care, but keep making that type of content.
They weren't trying to be with like Marvel. That's why we had Snyder. They weren't trying to be like Marvel. My fear
they absolutely
no, they weren't,
go ahead,
because they had, like I said, the first 5 movies that came out, Batman versus Superman.
When you say 5, what 5? Okay,
from
there.
5,
okay, go ahead. Right,
okay, right. The first 5
right. From
Batman
Snyder,
versus Superman, right? From Snyder,
right.
Batman.
Okay.
Then we get Captain America: Civil War. So if anything, it was the other way around. Then we have this whole thing of we're getting ready to sell Warner Brothers. We can't have a hit. We need our bonus. They chopped the movies up. They tried to make it just as horrible so they could sell Warner Brothers. This is the stuff. And then of course you had all the DC hate. I have never seen a fandom besides Star Wars go into a hated frenzy over a franchise. Everywhere you turn, they were bad mouthing DC. Every time
they didn't earn it. They didn't earn it.
They did not. They did not earn it. They did not earn it.
Some of it
I can turn around and say the same thing about
when
Marvel.
When you watch Batman versus Superman the first time, you were like, but when you saw the director's cut, I was like,
look,
that was
again.
That movie was dope.
You're talking about somebody who does the research, though. Your average fan,
right.
Your average fan who saw it might have said, I was sitting there going, there had to be more than this. Something had to be wrong. And then,
you knew it. You could see holes in it.
You know what I mean? We could see holes in it, but the average moviegoer doesn't. We got to remember, we're in the fandom. We know these characters.
Yeah, we're a small community.
You know what I mean? Yeah. You know, the rest of these people are like, you know, and you know what I hate the most is the people that come up to me and they go, well, you know, Batman doesn't make his own stuff. And I'm going, what are you talking about? Well, you know, in the movie, which movie? Well, you know, the one with Lucius Fox. Okay, first of all, please pick up a damn comic book and stop coming to me about the fucking movie you just saw by a British dude that didn't know the character.
I got that, dude. But I mean, I can't hold them to the fire. I can't hold them to the fire if they're not a comic book fan. That's just what they know. You know.
Look, all I can tell you is this: don't come at me trying to talk to me about my stuff that I know about.
Oh yeah,
when all you know is the movie universe.
Well, you got limited knowledge. I mean, I dig that.
That's how most people look at Marvel. They only know what they see in the movie. They don't know the actual character. So they're like, "Oh, this is the best movie ever." Yeah, but that's not who that character is. Like, I hate it. Yeah, I mean, I still like Marvel. I love the first Avengers movie. I did not like the second Avengers movie because that wasn't Age of Ultron. I didn't even know where they came up with that Ultron character. I hated that movie. You know, I told people about it. I also hate when, and it's a Joss Whedon thing. I hate when he changes a character to fit a movie. And I don't know, that's not how that character goes. He did that when he made his Justice League movie because he made Batman want to give up the whole thing. Like, oh, no, this is, you know, Batman, I want Wonder Woman to be in charge. And I'm like, that's not Batman. That's not the character. Why is he changing the character? He did that with Civil War, where I loved, the Winter Soldier in the Captain America movie. He was fantastic. And then when you get to Civil War, he's some guy who's running away from everybody. I'm like, who made this character? You know? So every time you look at Joss Whedon, you know he's going to do something that's going to mess up what's going on with the rest of the story. Like, he doesn't know who these characters are, or he wants it to fit something so he can get his story across, you know? So that's
Well, there's two things, and I want to piggyback off of something Second Timothy said. The first thing is, if they only made movies for comic book fans and tailored it directly as we saw it in the comic book, these movies would never have the gigantic success that we're seeing. You know, they're trying to bring in more than just the comic book fan when they're making these pictures, and they're thinking about selling tickets, and that's just
Oh yeah.
entertainment. We got to respect that.
Yeah,
The,
we
the,
know
the
that.
next thing, right, and the next thing is everything in comics does not translate well on the screen. Hold on, my laptop's about to die. And I
Okay.
understand how they may use a title for a comic and it's loosely based on the comic. It's not exactly Age of Ultron, but everything, and I'm gonna be honest with you, every hero that we've seen that has his own movie wasn't even worthy of having their own movie, and it still didn't hit home for me. I mean, it may have had financial success, but everybody not supposed to have their own movie, man. I to this day I would never say, yo, Aquaman was supposed to have his own movie. It was good, I liked it, but I don't need an Aquaman solo movie. They're never going to revolve the universe around Aquaman. You know, even if they do a Flashpoint story, he's not going to be the main character. Aquaman has always been a supporting character. Now, you can have his own animated movie. Yo, that was dope. But you see, they ain't make part 2 and 3 of it. It wasn't that dope, you know. So I'm just saying, everything doesn't translate well from comics to screen. If they loosely adapt certain things, you know, I'm cool with that. Long as it's done with taste and a certain quality, I can live with it. You know,
Well, I
it's just
mean,
me.
I get what you're saying there, but here's my problem with all that. You have the animated universe for DC, which was,
Pretty
pretty
good.
much. I mean, no, it was great. I mean,
Yeah,
I got to
pretty
see.
good.
They bring in Damien, and I've never liked
Yeah,
Damien. I never liked it. Damien to me was just this spoiled little brat that just needed his ass whipped. You know what I mean?
right,
And then
right.
you see this growth with Damien and Batman, and then of course they bring in the Court of Owls, and everything is good.
Yeah, it's getting
So
live. Yeah,
yeah, me and Mark and Bishop always talk about the animated verse being a lot better than, and I hate to say it, but I'll say it, better than the DC universe. Okay,
oh yeah, it's the truth.
but when you don't have your studio backing you and you're trying to put butts in seats, like let's just say Disney pads Captain Marvel to stardom and buying out the tickets, and people are saying, I'm in this theater and there's only like 15 of us in here making videos on TikTok and YouTube. You gotta wonder what's going on there. You see what I'm saying? And that just goes into the agenda that's been pushed, how they change our character.
Dude, I felt like Captain Marvel was going. They supported her because she was a strong feminist, man. I'm be honest with you. Like
Yeah, you know
that
what?
was a lot of the success. A lot of the tickets were sold because of her status as that. Now she is a great actress. A lot of people take shots at her, but a lot of people haven't seen that movie Room. Dude, once you watch that, you understand her talent level. And I'm not saying that the movie didn't earn its keep, but a lot of it had to do with a lot of politics in the background. Captain
Well, look,
Marvel
I
is not
mean,
a movie that you rush to go rewatch when it's on TV.
no,
You know, you
but
see it
and
on, you
again,
see it, yeah.
go ahead.
So
Well, you got
go
to
ahead.
remember too, also that Captain Marvel was supposed to be the new face of Marvel or the
Yeah.
DCU until
Yeah,
the fan backlash, and then we ain't seen hide or we ain't seen hide or hair of her other than this new movie, The Marvels, where she's kind of like playing second fiddle in her own movie because of the fan backlash. And again, that whole thing of Captain Marvel making $1 billion, we all know Captain Marvel did not make $1 billion. I mean, financially it made it, but there was not sold out crowds like they were portraying on Facebook and whatnot and
right,
Instagram, that Captain Marvel is this huge blockbuster movie, fans love it everywhere, and theaters are empty.
right.
So yeah, that's why she's not the face of Marvel right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna see because it's coming back out. You got the Marvels coming out, so you got
Right, the
all
Marvels
the
are coming back out, but so is other projects too are coming out.
yeah.
Well,
You know,
I think what's not being recognized is the impact that Chadwick's passing left on their game plan, because the strategy was to build to a Civil War II in which you were going to have T'Challa and Captain Marvel at odds with each other, but they were going to lead the Avengers going forward until they had another schism, and guess when Civil War II kind of takes place. So when he passed, I think they left a gaping hole in their strategy, and they were just doing the best that they could with the cards they were dealt. I'm not even sure if that Captain Marvel 2 was even supposed to be the Marvels. You know, a lot of things changed after that. Yeah, and you got to realize Evans is away, Downey's away. Everybody's in a state of disarray. Like, are they even Avengers? Who's the leader? What we doing here?
And Tony Stark. Oh, I'm sorry, Robert Downey Jr. wants to come back, and they're going to pull him from.
He's back.
They're going to pull him from the multiverse, and he's
coming
back.
Secret Wars,
right?
Secret Wars, which isn't really going to be Secret Wars, but it's going to be Secret Wars from the multiverse. So they're going to bring everybody.
Maybe in Armor Wars. He may be in Armor Wars also. So we'll see. I mean, all those guys signed on. Evans is already signed on for a 3-picture deal. I think they announced Downey is coming back for Secret Wars and something else. So we knew they were coming back. Yeah, we knew they were coming back. If we read comics, dude, nobody dies.
Yeah,
Black Widow will be back.
Except for Uncle Ben. Uncle Ben is the only one who don't get to come back.
Right.
And look,
he just keep getting killed. Thomas Wayne.
But look at the state of Phase 4. Phase 4 flopped. There was a Disney call the other day that this is the first time since 1974 Disney has made a loss. They lost $143 billion this year.
But that wasn't because of the movies, because the movies were successful.
No, the movies were not successful.
They were successful from a monetary standpoint. They didn't.
But at the same time, Disney. This is their first loss since company loss as a whole since 1974.
Okay.
Well, that's Star Wars.
Look, that's Star Wars. That's Marvel.
Yeah, it's also
that's their parks. Their theme parks.
The theme parks are definitely losing money right now.
So,
it's more. I think it's more the theme parks. So that's where that's their biggest money maker are the theme parks and their proprietary licensing and things like that. So I mean,
actually that's not true. They sat there and they released there was a list of on Disney streaming.
Mm-hmm.
They had a list of what was their top 10 programming all across Disney.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
And not a single Star Wars I think the only movie of 2022 was Eternals was on that list.
Oh,
everything else was Disney Junior or Disney Animated is what made money this year and what is everyone's watching right now.
Well, look, I can tell you this. Don't worry. Mandalorian's going to save everything.
Oh, yeah. You know that.
Well, did you see the article of what Pedro Pascal talking about the new season because when they filmed this, he was also doing Two of Us, or not Two of Us.
He's doing the Two of Us, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing that
zombie or something like that.
Yeah, whatever it's called. He was doing that at the same
time. The Last of Us.
Last of Us.
He was doing that while he was filming this latest season of Mandalorian. So a lot of the times you're not going to see his face.
Dude, we've never seen his face.
No, you remember he took his helmet off.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, he has complained. Behind the scenes, he has complained about not getting enough facial exposure. But that's just the nature of the game. Maybe they can do some things. It's still a way to accommodate him as the lead. In private, he can pull it off or whatever. He can still do that.
They're not going to do that, though. The whole thing for the Mandalorian is for his set, because it's a cult-like set. It's the Children of the Wild.
I understand.
They keep that on there. So he was complaining about that beforehand, but that was part of the job. And to be honest with you, half the time that you see the Mandalorian on screen, it's not him. He goes in the studio and gives you the voice.
Right. That's true.
Well, and I think the article was saying that Disney and HBO somehow came to an agreement to allow him to do what he needed to do for the Mandalorian. So, which most likely meant he was Skyping his lines for the Mandalorian. He
Well,
wasn't
you know,
actually.
I mean,
whatever.
look, they've already got a spinoff in the works for the Mandalorian. This might be the last season of the Mandalorian.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, they're already moving forward with what they want to do, and then he might be contracted to come back to Skype his lines again. But here's the thing. We only know him by that outfit. We,
Yeah, I
you know, and then that one time that he's taken, well, the two times that he's taken his helmet off. Once inside the building to get the information, and then saying goodbye. That's it.
Yeah.
Now
Hey, guys.
he goes back to Mandalore.
Let me
Go
put
ahead.
you onto something.
Go ahead.
I'm not sure what his salary is,
Yeah.
but you're not going to pay an actor $10, $11 million and him not be in that suit. Now, he's not going to be in the suit 15 hours a day. He may be in there too, but he's going to have that suit on every time they shoot. Now, he can remotely do lines, and I understand that. But you got to realize, as a studio executive, if I'm looking at these, the billing and the money going out, what's coming in, we paying this guy $11 million to remotely do these lines from home. Oh, hell no. You coming in and put this suit on.
Actually,
You're gonna do these. You're gonna do a limited amount of stunts.
Right.
Yeah, you're gonna earn this money. 'Cause this is not an animated movie here where you can come in and do your whole.
Look, I totally agree with you.
dude.
That's why I said.
Yeah, you putting that suit on, dog.
Look,
Right.
he had some troubles. And apparently, they sent him home one day because, you know, he
Yeah.
kind of went over to George talking about, can you talk to him? Can you get me on? You know, I
No,
wanna
we
do
can't
more
talk
of
to
this
him.
stuff. Exactly.
We talked to him when we told him how much we was gonna pay you.
Exactly.
That's the only time we're gonna go talk to him. So you have to do your part. Now, is there a compromise? Is there gonna be somebody that come and say, you know, hey man, listen, we had tremendous success with this show, and this guy's earned, you know, our respect. Let's accommodate him a little bit. You know, he's shooting other things. He can remotely do some of these lines. Let's see what he has to do. But what I'm saying is, you have to build up to that point. Just because you're an accomplished actor coming into a new show, you got to realize this is the mouse. They are not intimidated by talent because they just smoked the rock. So you're going to somewhat get on board with what they want you to do, or, you know, you can go work somewhere else, and that's cool. I mean, you've seen Kathleen Kennedy not hesitate to chop heads. Now, we may not agree with it, but listen, I'm hiring you to do this. You have done this. I'm going to give you an opportunity to do this. And if you're not, then, you know,
We've
that's what it is.
we done hit an hour. I was trying to only make this show 30 minutes, but you know, I think we've
Oh yeah, this is good.
I think we got some fire here. I say in 2 weeks we reconvene. Let's talk about the Kathleen Kennedy thing.
We can talk about whatever, man. That's cool.
We've gone into it. You know what I'm saying? I think we can jump into that because I've heard some stuff. And anybody, please do not reference Mike Zero. He is not a credible source of information on YouTube. Mike Zero is not a credible source. So,
say less.
You know what I'm saying? So, look, guys, I had a ball. I think this is really taking off. We had 3 luchadors asking us when we're going to come out with merch. So we need to figure out what type of logo we want for our show now. So,
okay.
Yeah. You guys give me some ideas. I don't want to be the only guy coming up with stuff because this is a team effort. I need you guys to make this show better, and we want to thank all of you for joining us. We had Timothy Firepower, we had Lando Calrissian, Brad Myers, Kagaya Jaime. Who else did we have up here? Oh,
Arvell.
We had Jedi Joe, Arvell Whitaker. You guys, thank you for joining us. Hope to see you in 2 weeks. You can always catch us on YouTube or the Cosmic Portal. And you guys will probably catch us sooner or later at a convention because that's the way this thing is going. You know, we're going to try to get us
going live. Oh, yeah.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Do it live.
Yeah.
With a studio audience. Oh, we got one more comment. I'm
going to need some security, though, so when I say Black Adam sucks, I won't get jumped.
Yeah, you damn sure will.
Stand in the corner waiting for you.
Right, you know, I have a couple of people, with DC Universe sitting on their jackets and whatnot. All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
You too.
Good time.